Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back at today with another fantasy football video. Today's video, I got the Week 12 tight end rankings. I go through ranking 1 all the way through 20 for the tight end position to tell you why I have them ranked where they're at for this week. Now, before I get in the video, I'd like to give you guys a word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite way to play daily fantasy football. Now, my favorite game on this website is the progressive game, where every single week, if the bonus does not get hit, the money keeps on rolling and rolling and rolling on until you eventually and someone hits that beautiful 12-0 to get that progressive bonus. As you can see here in the $22 game, which is the best game to play this week, if you go 12-0 and all those stars align, you can get over 8 grand winning in that game. Now, if you don't end up going that beautiful 12-0, don't you worry, because if you're in the top 10%, you get 9 times your buy-in at all levels. $2.5, you get $18. $22 entry, you get $180. And if you enter the $109 game and you hit that beautiful top 10%, you get 9 times your money at $900. Now, there's also another game with best record wins. You enter $11, the top 10% get $90, and that top prize, you get $100. So it's going to look beautiful on there right now. But obviously, that price is going to keep going up as more people join and enter. Pretty much, you're not even playing against anyone. You're pretty much just playing against yourself. You're playing against the board, and you got to make sure that you get just a good enough record to hit that money. Now, I'm going to explain how it necessarily works right here this week. Now I'm going to join the $22 game. Pretty much how it works, all you got to do is pick 12 of these players out of a huge selection of players and plus 3 alternates. So you got to hit that beautiful 12-0 record to get that huge bonus, or obviously you can get 9-3 or 7-5. It's different every single week. That would make you hit that beautiful and get that 9 times your money. So one of the games here and one of the strategies I like to do is I like to go with Drew Brees over Russell Wilson here, and then I scroll down to the wide receivers and I select Michael Thomas because I'm going to be stacking my quarterback with my wide receiver. That is my favorite thing to do on this website. So make sure you guys check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. Goodbye, my friends. And we are back. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. But let's get right into it. Week 12 quarterback ranking. And we are back. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. Let's get right into it. Week 12 tight end rankings. Number 1 in my rankings this week is Mr. Big Man, Darren Waller, going against the New York Football Jets. Now, Darren Waller has been heavily involved in every single game that the Raiders have had this season. He pretty much plays on every single goddamn snap. And this week against the New York Jets, I see no reason why Darren Waller should not have a fantastic game. This Jets defense is not very good at defending against the tight end position. I think that Darren Waller should be able to easily have a huge game this week in the Meadowlands for the Oakland Raiders. At number 2, we have Zach Ertz going against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, the Seattle Seahawks defense is fucking awful against covering that tight end position for fantasy football, and Zach Ertz is going to be able to have a monster game this week. Alshon Jeffrey may not play. It seems like the whole goddamn roster is banged up at the wide receiver position. They're without Jordan Howard. It seems like there's going to be a pass-heavy attack on the Seattle Seahawks, and I see no reason why Zach Ertz should not perform great and be a top 5 tight end this week. I know he has not performed very well this year. You drafted him highly, you traded for him low, and he just has not performed. But this week against the Seattle Seahawks, I think he really has his best game of the year. Coming in at number 3, we have Mark Andrews going against the LA Rams. Now, Mark Andrews has honestly been just quite amazing this fucking season. He had a game 2 touchdowns in last week's game, has been playing phenomenal. I see no reason why this can't repeat against the LA Rams. Obviously, last week, the Bears, they're without a tight end. They don't really have a tight end. Trey Burton's not there. They just have a carousel of tight ends. So, obviously, the tight end did not perform well last week. Now, the LA Rams really only have one good guy on defense. I should say 2. They have Aaron fucking Donald, and they have Jalen Ramsey. And Jalen Ramsey is not going to lock down Mark Andrews. He's going to go ahead and cover Hollywood Brown. So I think that Mark Andrews should easily be able to perform in this game against the LA Rams. And since Lamar Jackson really loves targeting that tight end position in the red zone and in the end zone, it always seems to be Mr. Mark Andrews. So I like him at number 3 this week. Coming in at number 4, we have Mr. Ryan Griffin going against the Oakland Raiders. Now, Ryan Griffin is a guy that has been low-key dominating in fantasy football the last couple of weeks. Obviously, Chris Herndon done for the season, so it's going to be the Ryan Griffin and Sam Darnold show this week against the Oakland Raiders. Now, honestly, Ryan Griffin has been low key really good. Like I said, 3 out of his last 4 games have been really dominant, scoring like 15 plus points in those games, always finding the end zone. And this week against the Oakland Raiders, against a defense that really is not all that hot, I like Ryan Griffin this week. Coming in at number 5, we have a man who is on fire. Jared Cook going up against the Carolina Panthers. Jared Cook has been scoring touchdowns left and right last game, and I believe the game before that, he's been playing actually quite well. Now, the whole season, he has been shitting the bed left and right. He's needed those huggies, but recently, he's been on fire. We're going to keep our pan on that hot fire and play Jared Cook this week against the Carolina Panthers, who are really not that good of a defense. I think that Drew Brees is heavily going to be targeting Michael Thomas and Jared Cook and Alvin Kamara in this game. And if Jared Cook is a guy that he can find and rely upon in the end zone, I see no reason why Jared Cook cannot dominate this week. Coming in at number 6, we have the tight end on the other side of the ball. Carolina Panthers, Greg Olsen, going against the New Orleans Saints. Now he's going to drop his drawers and let New Orleans see his third leg. Now Greg Olsen honestly has been pretty dicey thus far this season. He has games where he's up there looking like a top 5 tight end, and then he has other games where he is completely invisible. He's got his fucking camouflage on. You cannot see him John Cena style because he does nothing, okay? But in this game against the New Orleans Saints, I think this may be a back and forth type of affair, considering the Carolina Panthers disappointed so hard the week before. I think that this week Kyle Allen plays a decent amount better, so I like Greg Olsen this week against the New Orleans Saints, but mainly that's because all the better tight ends are really just on bye. Travis Kelce on bye, Hunter Henry on bye. Normally Greg Olsen would be like a top 8 guy, but now he obviously moves up higher due to the fact of the bye weeks. Coming in at number 7, we have Jacob Hollister going up against the Philadelphia Eagles, and no, he ain't those boys' clothing, okay? When you're like 12 years old, you're rocking that fire Hollister. I'm sure I probably still have fucking Hollister clothes in my drawer, and I'm fucking 20 years old. But against the Philadelphia Eagles, Jacob Hollister should be able to perform. We've seen the last couple of weeks, obviously last week they're on bye. The Seattle Seahawks and Russell Wilson look towards that tight end position. At the beginning of the year, it was Mr. Will Dissly. Now, Will Dissly out, Jacob Hollister has taken the saddles and taken the reign, and he's been riding it till he can't no more into the end zone every single game. It seems like he's just been dominant all over the field, being targeted very heavily by Russell Wilson, who clearly loves throwing the ball to that tight end. I like Jacob Hollister this week against the Philadelphia Eagles defense that is prone to getting torched in the passing game. The run defense is much better. Coming in at number 8, we have Vance McDonald going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals defense is atrocious, and it's pretty easy this week to see a path for Vance McDonald to find that end zone and have a good fantasy football game. Now, he is playing up against the Cincinnati Bengals, whose defense is atrocious. That's number 1. Number 2, Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, both fucking dead. Deontay Johnson may pay. Juju is completely out. So Vance McDonald should be able to be one of the top looks for Mason Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. So I think that Vance McDonald will be able to find his way into the end zone this week and be a top 8 tight end. Coming in at number 9, we have Dallas Goedert going against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, like I said, Zach Ertz, I should say, the Seattle Seahawks are prone to getting torched to the tight end position. They let any tight end walk straight into the end zone. They part the Red Sea like they're fucking Moses, and they let you walk straight into the end zone. And I see no reason why Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert, with the wide receiver core of the Philadelphia Eagles being so banged up, that both of these guys could not have potential to be top 10 guys this week in fantasy football. Coming in at number 10, we have Gerald Everett going up against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Gerald Everett, honestly, last week going against the Chicago Bears was much of a disappointment. Didn't see really any action in the first half. Had a goose egg until I believe the fourth quarter. This week against the Baltimore Ravens, he should be able to get back in the saddle and look to score more fantasy football points. Now, obviously, Robert Woods coming back, or Brandon Cooks coming back. Likely Brandon Cooks is probably going to play. Robert Woods also probably going to play. So obviously that hurts Gerald Everett. But at the end of the day, if the Rams are scoring touchdowns, there is a chance that Gerald Everett could find that end zone, and that would warrant a top 10 play for me in fantasy football this week. Coming in at number 11, we have Noah Fant going against the Buffalo Bills in the cold Buffalo climate. Noah Fant has honestly been playing pretty well the last couple of games with Brandon Allen, their new quarterback, after they said Joe Flacco hit the road jack and don't you come back no mo. Noah Fant has actually been playing quite well, and while the tight ends are very, very top heavy in fantasy football, especially this year, Noah Fant should be okay this week going against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Coming in at number 12, we have Mike Gesicki, Licky Amagasicki, going up against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland, and you better believe, land, that Mike Gesicki is going to play well yet again in this game. He's been playing pretty well every single game Ryan Fitzpatrick has been playing. He's clearly one of Ryan Fitzpatrick's favorite targets. Obviously, the wide receiver core there is not too hot after they shipped Kenny Stills out of there. Preston Williams hurt. It's really just Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki. So I like Mr. Gesicki this game against the Cleveland Browns. Now on to 13 through 20. So if you guys have enjoyed thus far, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. Coming in at 13, we have Cameron Brate going against the Atlanta Falcons. Last week, O.J. Howard went to go catch the ball. It hit his hand, it hit his back, it bounced off his back and caused a pick. You know what Bruce Arians said? He was whispering in O.J. Howard's ear and said, "Motherfucker, how the fuck did that happen?" And he benched him down straight onto the bench. And this week, it seems like Cameron Brate is going to be getting a lot more looks. And if we know from last year, when O.J. Howard was riding the pine, it seemed like Cameron Brate was eating. And Cameron Brate is definitely a top talent at the tight end position. He's getting a bit up there in age, but that does not matter for this week in fantasy football against the Atlanta Falcons, against a defense that is fucking atrocious. Okay, guys, they've had a few good games in a row, 2 good games in a row, but I'm still buying in on the fact that that team and their defense is fucking terrible. I like Cameron Brate in this game at 13. Coming in at number 14, we have George Kittle going against the Green Bay Packers. And now, right now, as I'm recording this video, I'm very unsure if George Kittle Me Timbers is going to be playing in this game against the Green Bay Packers. Now, obviously, it is a Sunday night game, so it may not come out until fucking 6 o'clock that George Kittle is playing or not. So make sure if you got Kittle Me Timbers, you have a backup plan. You have Ross Dwelley. Ross Dwelley is the backup tight end on the team. We've seen him flourish without George Kittle. Now, if George Kittle plays, he's obviously a top 10 guy. He's ranked here at 14 due to me being very unsure of him. And if he's not 100% healthy, I would also rank him lower due to the fact that if his health is not 100%, I'm not sure how many snaps he's going to be getting on the team and if they're going to ease him in or not. Coming in at number 15, we have old man Jason Witten going against the New England Patriots. Back in the booth, Jason Witten was terrible. When he's on the field, he's just about okay. Due to his old age, he walks so fucking slow. But at the end of the day, Jason Witten is the king of consistency. Dak Prescott loves to throw the ball to him. If you want a guy that's going to score you 25 fucking fantasy points, you better look elsewhere than Jason Witten. But if you want a guy that may get you 8 to 10 points, go ahead and slide Jason Witten in your lineup. That's why I got him at number 15. Coming in at number 16, we have another bald man, Jimmy Graham, going up against the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco. Now, Jimmy Graham, if I'm being completely honest, is either a stud or a complete dud every single week. You never see him go in the middle. He either scores you 0 points, he puts the goose egg in your lineup, he scores you 3 points, or he skull fucks the defense and scores you 20 points. In this game against the San Francisco 49ers, I think it's going to be closer to a 0-point game, and that's why I have him ranked at number 16. Coming in at number 17, we have Ross Dwelley going against the Green Bay Packers. Now, like I said, if George Kittle does not get the start and does not get to go this Sunday night, I would play Ross Dwelley with a whole lot of confidence. Ross Dwelley was looking dominant when George Kittle has been out the last couple of games, so I do like Ross Dwelley in this game, given George Kittle's out. If George Kittle is in, you better believe you cannot have Ross Dwelley anywhere near your lineup. You should just cut his ass. Coming in at number 18, we have big man O.J. Howard, and the juice may end up getting loose against the Atlanta Falcons in this game. Now, if they commit back to O.J. Howard, and he can actually catch the ball, you can go ahead and have him in the top 20, but I really just don't have too much belief in him, and that is why he is ranked at number 18. I really do think that Cameron Brate will get a majority of the targets for that tight end position and a majority of the useful snaps. Coming in at number 19, we have T.J. Hockenson. God, going against the Washington Redskins in Washington. Now, T.J. Hockenson has been a complete and utter shit show for your fantasy team. He's a lot like Jimmy Graham, if I'm being honest with you, but with a lot more duds than a lot more stud games. TJ Hockenson is hit or miss. He's going to, in this game, I can see him scoring 25 fantasy points. I 100% can, because the Washington Redskins are so bad, but he's dealing with Jeff Driscoll instead of Matty Snapback. He is dealing with the fact that he just doesn't get targeted a lot. If he gets targeted a lot in this game against the Redskins, like I said, he could score 25 points, but I'm not sure I can predict him doing that well, so I got him at number 19 this week in Washington. Coming in at number 20, we have Tyler Eifert going against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Tyler Eifert has honestly been just about okay the last couple of games in fantasy football, so I find that you could do a lot worse than Tyler Eifert. Obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is pretty good, but they're just not the greatest against the tight end position, so I think Tyler Eifert has potential to have a okay game in this game, coming in at number 20. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying it, at any point you ended up chuckling, knock one time on that fucking subscribe button and hit that. Have a great, wonderful rest of your day. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com, link down below in the description. One more video coming at you tomorrow for overlaydfs.com. I love each and every single one of you guys. Make sure to have a blessed rest of your day. Goodbye, my friends.